the recognition that it was only in relationship to flesh or you and I or thought, something separate and apart, or something that could be seen in comparison to itself. It was, but it did not know that it was until it had a thought. Man is the idea or thoughts of God cloaked in flesh. The idea is that we have a plan for ourselves as to those things that we must learn. All right. We have a question as a thought or as non-form. We come into life then in a certain situation to set up certain beliefs so that we can achieve our goal. This is all our personal doing. Before, let's say even in the sense, before flesh, time makes no sense. To say before really doesn't make any sense because it's all now. It's all happening now. And everything that has ever happened is still happening. So, in that sense, it gets a little confusing. All right? Because one of the things we do, whether we realize we do it or not, is compare. We compare what is to what we know, and that confuses us. It just happens automatically in our head somehow, the pairing instinct. The same thing we go through a lot of times. I will make a statement to you, and you will say, yeah, I understand that, but. See, what you're doing is making a comparison. And what I'm saying is not to be compared with. It's to be actualized. Just like the truth at any given level is to be actualized. The idea that past and future in that context make absolutely no sense at all because it's all right here, right now. So that was an instantaneous agreement, I suppose you could say, with the coming about of the thought or the coming about of the expression of feeling. Each thing had questions. Each thought, each non-thing, let us say, each individual, each person, whatever it is you want to name that, had questions and sought to have it answered, and took flesh or took form itself. Now there are aspects of yourself that operate not in the realm of reality and form as you know it. That is something absolutely, totally foreign to your own mind. After life, it makes sense. It will make sense. But it will not make sense during life unless the whole idea structure that this is built upon dissolves. That whole idea structure being, this is what is real. This is what is real. This is what I am. This is the way it's supposed to be. You see, you don't want to, and I suppose rightfully so, that we make the assumption that this is the first whatever, because that's where you are. But it isn't. Yeah, it isn't. So flesh as you know it is one grain of sand on the beach. Only one grain of sand on the Great Sahara Desert. So that's why all assumptions must be understood. Because if we make the assumption, we will always be wrong. If we operate from the basis of any assumption. And the rule is, you get what you put out. That's the rule. You know, sometimes we think that because we are on the, quote, spiritual trip, that we are doing things correctly. And we are not. But we have to apply the first rule of understanding. Look honestly at yourself. Look honestly at how you said what you said. Look honestly at what you said. Look honestly at what you are doing. See, that's rule number one. Again, that's rule number one in terms of honesty with oneself. We like to think honesty means I don't steal. No, honesty has nothing to do with that. Honesty has to do with your relationship with yourself. That's what honesty is. And once you become honest with yourself, you're honest with everything else. I mean, I don't know, see the rule that says thou shalt not steal comes all right if you're hungry. You know, so that's not a rule. That's a rule somebody made up in order for you to get along with your fellow human beings. Societal. Don't steal from him if you don't want him to put you in jail. You know, it's real simple. You don't steal from him if you don't want him to bash your head in. You know, it's real simple. There are rules to keep society functioning, and there are rules that keep the whole thing functioning. Those are the real rules. We still want it our way. Well, the key is that we can have it, but we can't have it our way because our way is incongruent with the rule. So we will want to be let us say the biggest jerk on the planet and have everything good come our way. And we don't want to change it because it's us. See, and that's the deal. See, that's how you understand your question. That's how you understand your original question about flesh. The original question perhaps is, what is it? What is the experience of flesh? You get into flesh, you take it. You find someone that you care about. All of a sudden, you want to possess. See, that's getting further off the deep end. Instead of understanding what it means to be in flesh. To be in flesh means, if you're not careful, you go off the deep end trying to possess somebody else's flesh. See, that's one of the things that being in flesh means. You have to be aware all the time. You have to be conscious. You have to pay attention. It is not good to possess or try and possess the flesh of others. Why is it not good? Because it's not your flesh. It belongs to them. That is how the Nazis got in trouble. That's how the Klan got in trouble. That's how the old slave owners got in trouble. Trying to possess flesh that belonged to somebody else and do with it as they choose. not as those people who wear it choose. So, it is one of the things that we learn that is a pitfall of flesh. So we must constantly be aware. We learn that death comes with flesh. And we learn fear in flesh, which is one of the things that we learn about in flesh, is fear.
Because it's so vulnerable.
Yes. In spirit, you cannot be afraid to die. You are dead.
You're afraid to hurt yourself because you have no self.
You have nothing to hurt. You have no form to hurt. You have no, so you don't know what that means. But it is to learn it and then transcend it. It is to learn the lessons of. It's to learn the whole thing. What happens is we start learning about fear and insecurity and doubt and all that, and we don't go any further. We don't learn what they are in their essence. Were you about to ask a question? Oh. All right. Essence is most important. You can't stop with the thought of where it is or what it is. Essence. Well, you've been told what it is in essence. Now you must find out what that means as a real thing inside of you. Your personal relationship with yourself. You know, it truly is sinful when we think of it, to live, I don't know, 35, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, 90, 100 years and not even know you. I mean, live with yourself every day, you know, I mean, that's pretty tough. And when I say know you, it's not just knowing what you habitually do, but even beyond that, knowing the person who can take control of that by understanding what is going on in here. There's nothing going on in here real important. It may be in you, but ain't nothing in here going on that's real important. You know? It's just a thought. And that's all it is. You know, it's not out of proportion. It's just what it is. I don't mistake my finger for my leg or my finger for my arm. You know, I can do without this much easier than I can do without this. So it is everything in its proper perspective, even death. Because death is death of the body, but because we've come into form, we fear annihilation. Only form can die. But you never learn that unless you go beyond thinking that you are form. The flesh is to be focused on for a time until you can get all screwed up. Because that's the object. That's the object, to get all screwed up. Because you never become wise unless you get screwed up. You see, it's just that simple. It's just that simple. But that's for youth. Then you must begin to focus on changing the solution. And you must begin to recognize yourself as something other than flesh. Yeah, certain things that you enjoy to a high degree will change. But that's the way it should be. It will change, and that's okay. Because you change, And the idea is for you to change, to get screwed up and to change. That's why no matter what you do, you cannot make your children turn out like you want them to. Because they came to get screwed up. You can't make them do right. So you are working against the law when you try to make them do right. Just like your parents were working against the law when they tried to make you do right. Because the object was to get screwed up. For most, not for all. So it is to focus on the flesh for a while. Once you begin to have the question, there must be something more. It is time to look elsewhere. If you never have that question, then it is not time to look. You must have the question. There must be something different. There's something wrong. I am not happy. Then you begin to look. And someone says, yeah, I can tell you what the problem is, but now you must find the solution. I can tell you what the solution is, but you must find out what that means. Then your new process begins. That is to say, your problem is this. You are focused on this. You say, yeah, but blah, 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 blah. I'll say, that's your problem. That's your problem. You see, we put ourselves between the rock and the hard place. We make it so there is no solution. I tell you what a solution is, what the solution is, and you make it so there is no solution. See, and then complain. Now, keep complaining because you're not happy. See, it's weird, but that's the way you do. You know, so centering of that absolute value understands that. Understands absolutely that this must change. Doesn't matter how I feel about how much I want it. If I'm wanting strychnine, why should I want that? I mean, you know, if what I'm wanting is hurting me, yeah, it is in fact the same addiction as drug addiction. And we put our fingers down on them like holy hell, but we are all addicts. It's the same attitude. We're all addicted to bullshit. You see, if I really realize that it's only a thought, it's not going to bother me. If I don't realize that, then it is something else, excuse me, happen in life. They are what they are when we truly understand them and accept them for what they are. They have less effect upon us. We experience it and we move on. It's really that simple. We sometimes oversimplify. Everything is simple. But we sometimes oversimplify. I've said there's great magic in this world, and that you can easily bring about in life those things that are desirable to you because it is your birthright. We say, oh, All I have to do is visualize it, and it will be so. That is so. But we visualize with contamination, and we do not even know that we're contaminating it with negativity. The idea is to clean up the negativity out of it so that it comes about as you desire. If it is not coming about as it is desired, then we must look at the negativity within our own thoughts that create it. There's also a rule that says not everything is the same. Everything that appears to be the same thing is the same thing. Sometimes, we come into this world and we are meant to leave this world. That is not sometime, that's all the time. Okay. Every leaving is not bad. Every illness is not bad. It all depends on what is happening at greater levels for that individual. So, it brings us to judgment. And judgment based on our fears, hopes, dreams, aspirations, whatever. When we have no right to judge, we have the right to feel whatever we may feel, and to understand what it is that we feel. But we do not have the right to judge, because we don't know. We don't know. But then it is not some great wrong out here that we are committing. It is a great wrong in here that we are committing, and only committing that great wrong to ourselves for not seeing clearly. So, the rule is to be happy, you must simply be happy. It's real easy. In spite of whatever. This is life. Many things happen in life. Many, many, many things happen in life. You came into it to see what it's like. But yet we forget and make this the place. I'm afraid it isn't the place. It's a place, and it is a place inside of you. The only place is you. I've tried to present a point of understanding in my time, in my dream cycle. And that is to say that this is like a dream. Have you ever taken the time to go over, point by point, what it's like to dream? To find out what that means? You see, the flesh that you think you have in the dream is not flesh at all. It's a dream. It's a dream. It's a dream. I'm saying to you, it's a dream. Now, how can you be any more in it than you are in the one that you have at night when you lay down and go to sleep? How can you be any more or any less in it? You're both in it and outside of it. I'm saying the same thing about this. I'm saying, if you want investigation, there must be investigation. You can't just say, oh yeah, blah, 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 yeah, I thought about that, makes sense, blah, blah, blah. No, this is bullshit. It doesn't mean anything. You must investigate. Through your investigation, through your actions, you will bring more and more knowledge toward yourself because of your behavior and your action. What does he mean, this is a dream? Am I somewhere asleep, dreaming this as I am laying in my bed at night, dreaming other dreams? Am I sleeping someplace else in a reality that is larger and dreaming this one line of consciousness? The answer is, of course, you are. But you don't know that. You have to find that out. That's why most often in the East, you hear the word awake. Wake up. Wake up. You know, you're going to live your life. May as well live it awake rather than sleep. It offers much, much more. You cannot see yet what it offers. That is so much more than what you see. What you think you want is so much less than you can have. That, but you don't know that until you wake up and get. You say, "Wow, I really was making this more important than this. That was ridiculous." And those of us who've been awakened for a while will say, "Yeah, that's right. That's ridiculous. We said the same thing when we woke up." You know, that, wow, that really was ridiculous. That really was not real bright. But then it's called wisdom, because now we know. Really is just seeing what's in front of you, what's really there, just seeing the truth and admitting the truth. But you see, the problem is we go through, yeah, but see, we're not admitting the truth. That's the whole thing. That's the whole thing that gets in our way. It's our own idea structures, whether we think they are right or wrong, good or bad. They get in the way. It's that simple. You see, as long as you carry it and look through it, it's in the way. I don't care what you say. I don't care how much you scream and holler. I don't care how much you kick. That's the truth. I didn't make it. You know, I had to come to it too. I had to stop screaming and hollering, stop yelling about me and what I think, to see it. So that's something only you can determine. And only you can determine it when you see. A mistake we'll make is say, "Well, I'm going to give it all up." Big mistake. Saying you're going to give it all up. You have to focus on truth. You have to focus on something, seeing what it is. Then you've given it all up. It doesn't exist. Right. It's like, it's the difference between saying don't think of rabbits and think of foxes. It's the difference. Because the minute you say you're going to give it all up, all you can do is think about what you got to give up. You got to think about that thing that's not that. And it's gone. It's done. So it happens when one recognizes the truth. You see, when you recognize what is true, your troubles are over.
Because you stop thinking about the rabbits, you're now just focused on foxes.
Yes, your troubles are over. They don't come back. They don't come back. They can't come back. Because they were all illusions. How can they come back? If you recognize it, you know when you get there, because it's over with. It's over with. There's no weight on your shoulders anymore. There's no load. You know. is just lightness and joy, no matter what, no matter how you physically feel or what. It's okay. Once you arrive at that level of seeing things, it's about seeing things and accepting things for what they are. That changes things automatically. The thing is, we want to change things, but we don't know how to change them to make them right. So, but the way we change them to make them right is to be in it, and it changes by itself. It just changes. It just becomes different. The only way to gain control is to lose control and let that which is natural within yourself take over. But when I say natural, it means a little cleaned up of your bullshit. See, we don't even know what's natural yet because we got all this bullshit piled on top, and we just do away with that and go ahead with that feeling. It happens. It falls into place. That is why, over the years, my advice has been, don't do that. My advice has been, you think you know what it is, but you don't. You can't know what it is until you get there, so stop trying to know what it is before you get there. Get there, see what it is. And you'll find it's what you wanted all along. Put it a little more this way. You say you desire something, a series of events goes down. You say, no, no, I don't like that, I don't want that, blah, 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 blah. Well, see, that series of events is more likely to bring about what you said you wanted. But then you get involved in it, too much control, and want to walk away, want to do this, want to do that, and want to blah, 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 and right behind it was what you wanted, and you walked away from it. That's too much control. See, that's why you have to accept the things that happen in life.
Bringing up the next scene.
Let it play its hand out. Let it play the hand out.
No matter what comes.
No matter what comes. And be happy with that. See, that's the deal. You got to learn to be happy with that. You say, okay. And when I say be happy with, that doesn't mean that if a train runs over your foot, you say, oh, I'm so happy it cut off my foot. No, that's ridiculous. I mean, you experience what it is without making it more than what it is. You don't want to do that.
Make your way to the doctor.
It's just what it is. You see, it's just what it is. That's the right. Now, something happens that happens, and something that you wanted to happen happens as a result of that happening. We want understanding out of stuff and don't give people a chance to understand it. To screw up to understand it. You got to screw up. Thing is, you got to screw up, and you only understand it by paying attention while you're screwing up. And you learn. You can't just screw up and screw up and screw up and screw up. Well, you can, but it says you're certainly not paying attention. You have to recognize you're not paying attention. Technique. Put you in a position to see. Funny thing about us, we'll see one thing and think that's it. And we'll keep doing the technique, but we'll keep going back to that one thing. There's more. There's always more. There's more. There's more. There's more. If you're not in joy, what you discovered ain't it. Sorry. We want to become too comfortable with things. We become too comfortable with everything. We become comfortable with our recognitions. No, you become comfortable with me. We forget sometimes with some of us, I'll say X. Yeah, but so and so and so and so. See, I have only one question within my own being. Who the fuck you think you're talking to? This ain't, this ain't it, So I've come to the point now, I don't say anything, I just kind of go head on, But what I'm saying is that is one of the things we must be aware of, our making everything too comfortable and too close, knowing too much about it. And one of the things that happens is we never learn about it because we know too much about it. One of the reasons why a person such as myself, why we often speak of existing on a desert, is because nobody wants to know us. Everybody already knows us. They do. They do. They make us this unreal God, or they make us this petty asshole, or they make us somebody, my friend. What does that mean? That may be so, but what does that mean? What is your idea of what that means, and how does that relate to that which is true? It may not, so you have to be careful. You look at them, you see them, you listen, you watch, you learn. But the minute you know that you just fucked up with a capital F. What can I tell you? That's the law. That's the law. I'm appalled sometimes. I'm shocked. Sometimes I hear things about myself. Just in people's voices, things, things they say, messages they leave, And I know they don't understand. They are knowing more about me than they should know. Then they can know. That's why they never get to know me. It's a desert place. That's why I say to you, be prepared to stand alone. And let it be okay. Because there's a price. There's a story of a man who lived on a hill. All the town got their water from one well because he lived far back, and on this hill his water came from a different source. Well, in the water of the townspeople was a mineral that made them all crazy. Absolutely mad. Well, his water came from another source, therefore it did not have the mineral. And he was sane. After putting up with this their madness for year after year after year after year, he decided to drink water from their well and became as mad as they. Well, you can drink water from the stream of madness if you so desire. As for me, I would choose the aloneness and the joy with that aloneness rather than drink from the stream of madness again. It is the beauty of having drunk from the stream of madness and gone up on the hill and drank that water long enough that I became clear. It's only to say that most human beings don't have the guts to do that. So there is a desert. Those who drink from the stream of madness it will never occur to them that you are different. So if you're expecting them to know this great wondrous thing, forget it. You know, in a sense, we talk of the birth of Christ during this time. He had 12 disciples. 12. And each one of them thought of him differently. 12 people he lived with, slept with, taught daily. They didn't stop to know him. And to know him was the only way that they would achieve what they say they wanted to achieve. To know him for what he was, not for what they thought of him as he was. One thought of him as a politician because this person was political. One thought of him as a master politician. One thought of him as a master fisherman because he was a fisherman. You cannot know. They could not know the wonders that was this man in that manner. You cannot know the wonders of something else as long as you hold opinions about what it is and what its relationship is to you and this and that and the other and what you want and this and blah and blah. You only get in the way and you only make yourself a pain in the ass. As you will note, as you grow, as you change, you will notice how many pains in your ass there becomes out of well-meaning human beings who think they love you, who are really just a pain in the ass. See, you have to see, if you see yourself for what you are, you will see me for what I am. And everything will be fine. But until then, we can still be children, and I don't want to die alone. Oh, shit, you're going to die alone anyway. If there are 50 people standing there holding your hand, you dying alone. You going by yourself. They going to be holding your hand when your last breath leaves. You are going alone, so you can cut the shit. See, that's an illusion we live with. The illusion of societal things that we live with. If I've got somebody I can do this with, you're full of shit. You know, you recognize who you are. You recognize you got to do what you got to do with or without somebody. You got to live. You got to be happy. You've got to enjoy yourself with or without the whole damn world. But you only learn that by understanding that you are joy, you are life, you are totally and absolutely responsible. Otherwise, we don't want to be responsible. See, we want to blame it on something or somebody else. I think quite a bit about my departure from this world. I get a good feeling. I think about it as I look with people who've gone through this in certain ways, and I see as they have fixed that, something else starts to go wrong. They fix that, something else goes wrong. It's telling you something. It's telling you. You can keep putting these patches on the tire, but the tire's soon going to blow out. That in itself, if you ever come to grips with that, It tells you. You will put everything else in life in perspective. All you've been making so important. I'm sorry. It's not. All the times that you as an individual have wanted to, well, I'm doing this so that you straighten up. Yeah, right. Kiss your own ass.
Why don't you?
All you're doing is cutting yourself off from little joy. You see, you will find out once you realize you're going to die. Once you really, really know you're going to die. Once you look, say you deny death in your life. Watch a lot of the people that I'm in therapy with. I watch the old man come through it. And I watched us go through our not being connected, our having problems. And watch the next thing, his eyes go. And then they fix that. Watch the next thing, he has a brain hemorrhage. See, everything starts to come apart. Now you either freak out, you pay attention to your own. You say, wow, yeah, oh man, check this out. This is happening. That's uh-huh. You pay attention to it and you accept, uh-oh, this is the beginning of the end. Cool. Or you freak out and become nuts. Scared to death, worried about it. One of two things. The reality of death straightens you out. You don't have time to be afraid. You don't have time to be selfish. You don't have time for all this nonsense. You just don't have time. There is nobody but you. That is enough. Because the love is inside of you. The joy is inside of you. The knowledge is inside of you. That's all that matters. That's all that matters. That's it. Nothing else matters. Nothing else matters. But you must realize death. You stop. You stop. You stop. And you realize the effects upon your life that all these things have had. And how you turn yourself into a night, your dream into a nightmare. The next couple of days, just stop and be real. Realize you're going to die. And, you know, if you get depressed, well, then you come on through it. Because your depression is a part of your dream. It's a part of your idiosyncratic behavior. So you understand that too is illusion. That is only illusion. Come on out and fess up, grow up. That's it. As I've said, you may never change, but you will never say somebody didn't tell you. Because I'm going to tell you. I am going to tell you. Right here, right now. I don't give a shit. I don't have to be nice to you. I don't have to. Say, but people like you are to be loving and nice. Who told you some bullshit like that? I am loving. Therefore I tell you, fuck away from me. Stop that. You ought to know better. If you don't, tough shit, because now you're being told. You will not die and say, no one ever didn't tell you. Yes. Oh, of course, you know, you don't go through life being a jerk. I mean, there's always reason for what you do. You know, you say, I'm not just going to walk up to somebody and say, I'm very nice. I don't have any reason. I mean, you haven't done anything to me to make me act an ass. But the minute you do, why can't you be as responsible for your action? You know, we meet in life for what we are. I get what's coming to me. Why can't you get what's coming to you? You know? I tell you, quit, get the fuck out of my life. Get a life. You get a life. You stay the hell out of mine. Well, why you want to be so cold? Why you want to be so stupid? Why must someone have to tell you to get out of their life? You got footprints all up.
Down your back?
Yeah, you know, get your feet off of me. You know, what's your problem? Get a life, sucker. It's that simple. This is life. Learn and grow. Know that you're going to die. I thank you for your time.